Still have not solved the problem of people's exorbitant electricity bills. We haven't passed one single bill to do so. The first one was a green energy plan.
The gentleman will suspend.
Data centers, a sore spot for a lot of states. In Pennsylvania, legislators attempting to reverse course when it comes to carve-outs to attract the data center industry to Pennsylvania. Welcome back to the States. I'm Greg Bishop. Now, earlier this week, Pennsylvania State Representative Greg Vitale reflected that the state recently gave tax breaks to data centers, but now they are, quote, putting the brakes on.
Sales tax exemption, it's estimated by the governor for these data centers in fiscal year 2030 will cost the Commonwealth about $517 million a year. Think of what an additional $517 million can buy as far as budgetary needs. We're giving these sales tax exemptions to companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Alphabet, companies that have net incomes in excess of $100 billion a year. This is not right. This is not needed. This is not what our constituents want.
Now, Vitale is tapping into something that the recent Voters' Voice poll for the Center Square shows. American voters believe building more data centers in the United States not worth the potential strain on local electricity, water, and infrastructure, and that the negatives outweigh the importance for national security in competing with China. Joining us to discuss this further is the Center Square reporter, John Stife. John, thanks for taking time with us here for the States. Just how stark is the issue of data centers for those that support it and those who oppose it?
Well, it's really hard to be one of those people that support it right now because it's really clear from this poll. I know we like our poll, but there's other polls out there too that say the same thing, that say people don't want the tax breaks to be given to these data centers. People don't believe that it's good for their electricity bills. People think that there's contamination of water related to it. People just don't like them. They don't like them anyway. They don't want them with a fox. They don't want them with in a box, or even, Greg, I know you like this, boxed wine. They don't even want it with that. They don't want any part of these data centers. They don't want them near them. And they maybe they'd want them somewhere else, but they're not as concerned with national security and with beating China in the race to AI as they are with not having these things near them.
Yeah, that's something that I think is really fascinating about this. It's one thing to just touch the pulse of, hey, do you like data centers? Do you want them in your backyard? Clearly, I mean, from the stories that we're getting out of the Center Square reporters across the country, John, is, it's Ohio, it's Illinois, it's Pennsylvania. I mean, they're getting ready to put a moratorium on, data centers, and we'll hear a little bit more from what Pennsylvania has to say about all of this. But when you compare that, and then you start asking, well, what about competition with China? They're more concerned about an American-built data center in their backyard than they are about the possible threats of China. Break those numbers down for us a little bit.
Well, one really interesting thing about this is that a lot of the legislation, a lot of these tax breaks were put in place with a whole different version of data center that we were thinking about before, the one that stores all your stuff, the cloud. But now we've turned into AI data centers. First of all, they cost way, way more. And second of all, their function is not the same. This is about computing with AI. That's the important thing with the competition with China, that we advance at the same pace as them. But what comes with that is what Pennsylvania is dealing with, what Wisconsin's dealing with. They gave these tax breaks and they were like, oh, maybe over the life of these tax breaks, 150 million or something like that. And now Pennsylvania is saying 500 million a year. Wisconsin, 4 data centers alone, AI data centers in the state, $1.5 billion of tax break for electricity, the servers in there, all the supplies and construction. Microsoft just opened the first of 2 in Pleasant Prairie, Wisconsin. they don't have a ton of employees there. They said, well, there's 500 full-time people that work at the facility. Some are contractors, some are Microsoft employees. And when they go online with the second one, and this is the cell phone site in Pleasant Prairie, Wisconsin. They put two data centers there. And when the second one goes online, it's going to be 800 employees for these two data centers that I think they're $20 billion facilities, and it's worth 800 jobs long term. It was 10,000 construction jobs. It put people to work for 3 to 5 years to build these things. It's great for construction workers in the short term, but there's not a ton of employment long term. And if you think about where we were at previously 5 years ago with data centers, where we are today, where are we going to be in 5 years with these things that they're building? Like, the technology is advancing incredibly fast, so we don't even know what's coming next.
It really is. I mean, and a lot of investment is being poured into this as well, as you've reported as part of this story. But some of this, the competition with China being outweighed by concerns over data centers. Those are two issues. But I think in Pennsylvania, State Representative Craig Williams, he kind of tapped into something when the debate was going on about reversing course in Pennsylvania. Right, several years ago, they're like, data centers, come on in, we'll give you tax breaks, we'll give you tax breaks. Now they're completely reversing course and looking to put a moratorium on those tax breaks, regain, hundreds of millions of dollars in, taxpayer benefits to the state. But Craig Williams, he said that this seems to kind of be not touching on a crucial point that Pennsylvanians and others across the country are dealing with.
Still have not solved the problem of people's exorbitant electricity bills. We haven't passed one single bill to do so. The first one was a green energy plan.
The gentleman will suspend. The topic before the House today is House Bill 2198, not electricity bills. Gentleman may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. House Bill 2198 is very much an electricity bill because it is about cost allocation.
Now, obviously, John, it's a very complex issue, but he seems to kind of make clear that none of this is really doing much to reduce energy costs.
Right. And that's part of what was asked in the poll that people are so afraid of and have already seen part of, is that energy bills have gone up. And there have been a lot of reasons for that. Energy policy, like he was talking about, they're moving away from traditional sources of energy, closing things down instead of just expanding and using everything that they can to bring in more energy for the supply and demand that's about to happen. Because a lot of these AI data centers are like the one in Port Washington, Wisconsin. Again, I know Wisconsin, that's what I'll cite. That one uses as much electricity as the whole city of Los Angeles. And you have to think about, well, if there's not enough electricity prices are going to go up because of that. So they need more sources of energy too, and they need it fast because these are coming up everywhere. They're growing, and all the infrastructure that needs to be put in for these electricity bills as well to bring it to these data centers and to bring it to people that will work at these data centers costs money. And people want those companies to be paying for that, and especially the new infrastructure related to it, and not have it be added onto their bill at their house.
It's pretty complex, especially when you start talking about the energy components, the tax subsidy components, the work rules and labor issues that might come up locally. I mean, you've got a whole bunch of things, and the issue of transparency with non-disclosure agreements. John, we could talk about this for quite some time. Greatly appreciate you taking the time here with the states. Now, in other poll data around technology, most Americans say that they do not trust artificial intelligence to provide accurate and unbiased information about politics and current events, according to the Voters' Voice poll. The Center Square's poll found 57% of American voters either trust AI, not very much, or not at all when it comes to providing accurate and unbiased information. Now, among the split, 29% of voters said that they did not trust it very much, and 28% of voters said they did not trust it at all. What about jobs? Well, roughly 70% of Americans say they were at least somewhat concerned that artificial intelligence could replace their jobs. Center Square's Voters' Voice poll found 34% of registered voters reported feeling somewhat concerned that AI would do their jobs. The poll also found roughly 36% of Americans said that they were very concerned about AI replacing them at work. Now, poll data also shows many Americans do not think that there's enough government regulation on artificial intelligence. The Voters' Voice poll found 45% of registered voters said that there is too little government regulation of AI. Only 13% of voters said that there was too much government regulation of AI. And 23% said that there was just about the right amount. Now, what about personhood? A vast majority of Americans reject the idea of giving legal rights or personhood to artificial intelligence. According to that poll, we found that 77% of registered voters think AI should be treated always as a tool controlled by humans, not an entity to confer legal rights. Now, only 11% of registered voters said advanced AI systems should eventually be eligible for legal rights or personhood. Now, as AI systems become more advanced, some argue they display more human-like behaviors, such as emotion, intention, and moral responsibility, sparking a debate among some scholars and likely sparking more dystopian sci-fi docuseries for streaming services.